Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Beatings in Space, a SD Gundam G Generation Genesis Let's Play. My name is Ubako, and with me once again is...
Megalomaniac. Hello, Internet.
Good day. So, what was the last episode? Last episode was Missing Link?
Yeah.
So we got introduced to the slave race and the Marchiosis Company. And last time I said that the next episode was going to be the one in York New. Obviously, people who've been watching would know that that was the previous Gundam episode. This one is the one where we will meet Romperal.
The best Zeon dude ever.
Ever?
In the original series. I mean, really, the only character who I think might be better is what's his name? I got Dozel. I mean,
if we are only talking about characters that show up in the original Mobile Suit Gundam,
I'm talking about the original Mobile Suit Gundam.
Because I could name at least two others that I would. No, I'd put one other.
Johnny Raiden.
Okay, two other. Johnny's okay. Actually, I don't know enough about Johnny. He's more just like a... in a way, he's kind of more of a meme, but no, I was going to say Bernie.
Okay, yeah, Bernie's pretty good. But of the characters in the original series, Romperal's probably the best Zeon one. Second, maybe Dozel. Oh, they had a lot of why I like Dozel's also from the Origin, because Dozel's, hilarious in the Origin. He, literally took a bomb, and there's, shrapnel sticking out his face, and he's just, being angry and obstinate still.
Yeah, just... I mean, it's also not that hard to have some of them be, better characters, because the majority of the named Zeonic characters are just straight-up fascists.
Yeah, pretty much. As evidenced by Giran here doing a Hitler speech.
Yeah. The original Gundam was not overly subtle, but it was still, how to put this, people were kind of a lot more interested in the cool robot fights.
Yeah. I mean, on the other hand, some things shouldn't be subtle.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Perhaps showing that Nazis are bad is not something that needs to be done subtly.
Indeed.
Perhaps Nazis, space or otherwise, are just bad.
Yep.
As shown with Sig Zeon. Which people will do ironically nowadays, because it's also a meme. Though also the original, I should say the dub for this, changed it to Hail Zeon, probably because they were uncomfortable using the word Sig on American television.
I mean, it is...
right after, Dragon Ball, basically.
But it is also basically the same word.
It is. So I guess the other thing could be they didn't want, 12-year-old Jimmy going to his mom going, "What does the word Sig mean?"
Yeah, probably. I mean,
or, when... they just legit thought Americans were too dumb to know the historical significance of that word.
I don't think it was that. The original Gundam was localized in, the middle of when a lot of this stuff was much more heavily, the tone was much more heavily managed.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that, what they did was they changed it, because, it was still the same story, but, the tones...
It was being localized with the aim of airing on a cable television channel at like 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Whereas, kind of infamously, they sort of, when they dubbed 8th MS Team, or not 8th MS Team, they dubbed 080 and 0083, and they were just going to stick those on, they were just on, well, back in the day, VHS, so they didn't need to edit them. And even when those aired on TV here, I recall them airing at like midnight or so.
Yeah, I thought that was
so
right.
where they edit out, some of the worst stuff, like the nudity, like because I remember like at least actually probably both those shows, some dude reading a porno mag with like boobs very present.
Yeah, I can think of someone very clearly who was probably in that scene.
Yes, it was Mancha in 083, yeah.
Yes.
And it was I want to say it was the dude who pilots the camper in 080.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And also, I think that also happened in 8th MS Team, probably with Elidor.
Yeah.
I guess
they probably did.
I guess what Gundam is trying to get across is that soldiers like to look at porno mags.
Yeah, I mean, soldiers are... Yes. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So speaking of, like...
Soldiers.
Well, no, like... when stuff gets aired, like, as kind of kind of an aside, like, I'm always reminded of when I was younger, YTV, like the main Canadian children's channel, would semi-regularly play Endless Waltz on, like, primetime, the unedited version.
Yeah. Actually, it was actually kind of cool when Wing first aired here. They had the normal edited version in the afternoon, but also at midnight they aired, I don't think it was completely uncut, but like less cut compared to the afternoon one. Which, fair enough, Wing ain't that, violent nowadays.
No, like, I mean, it still has stuff that would still have been edited for, like, basically its target audience. Like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure if they got Wing today, they still would have cut around the scene where Hero is lying in a pool of his own blood.
Yes, that was a thing that got edited. The other big one I remember is the edited version would not allow Duo to call himself the God of Death.
I think that would be allowed these days.
Maybe. I mean, also, this is also back when it was very rare for people to say kill.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, notably, like, as we end of the first episode of Wing, Hito tells Relina, "I'll kill you." In the edited version, he says, "I'll destroy you," which is...
honestly, I think
it's the same context.
Yeah.
But also, like, my thinking is they're in the context of, like, a prep school, and I'm just thinking, like, man, how different would the show be if Hito, like, just went on, like, ruining her reputation?
But what I was about to say was I actually personally like I like the change in tone that was given by that era of people dancing around the term kill.
Yeah.
Like, it just gave, like, the different words that they would use and the connotations that they would create by doing that. Like, honestly, I like that a lot.
Yeah. And I think it carried over to the original Gundam too, though. Yeah. I mentioned this before, the original Gundam, at least I think I probably did, because it sounds like a thing I would have brought up. It's weird, because it's been like 2 months since we did the last Mobile Suit Gundam episode, or something like that in real time.
Something like that.
But I'm pretty sure I mentioned that Gundam did not do well unless they kind of used 9/11 happening as an excuse to cancel it early.
Yeah.
So, like, a full... I want to say it was the last, like... 8 or 9 episodes just never aired on TV here.
And like, honestly, the original Gundam is like it's a little harder of a show to go back to.
Oh god, yes. Yeah. Again, I mentioned this before, so apologies to people watching this in order. So I probably said this like an hour ago, but they should not have tried airing the original Gundam on TV.
No, like especially when
not in 2001.
Yeah, because, I mean, they had already played some other shows.
Yeah, they already did Wing.
They already did
you don't
Wing
go from Wing to the original.
Yeah.
If they'd wanted to do Gundam, because this is harkening straight back to like original Toonami on Cartoon Network, which I don't think you guys had there.
We had something similar.
But you had, yeah. But like when that first started, what it was airing was like old Space Ghost cartoons and Voltron and Thundercats and Robotech. If they dubbed the original Gundam then and aired alongside those things, I think it would have played better.
Yeah, for sure.
But this was a couple years later when Toonami was airing Dragon Ball Z and actually original Dragon Ball at that point too, Sailor Moon and I think Zoids came later, but
I mean, weirdly, I would say that next to those contemporaries, like Gundam is actually kind of like Gundam actually kind of would have worked alongside those. I think it's just that they were also playing a lot more modern stuff around it.
Yeah,
and for that reason, Gundam doesn't work.
Blue Submarine number 6 had aired by that point. I think Outlaw Star had aired by that point, maybe.
Yeah, it should have.
Yeah, God, it's weird things back on Toonami. It's around now again on Saturday nights, which, it's grown up with the audience, but it was such a cool thing back in the day. It's like, as an nerd in high school, I totally just, like, would come home from school and just watch it all.
I know, I think for me, there was a channel like that for us, but I think it was one of the premiums, so we didn't actually have it.
Yeah. Well, this was just a block, and I know YTV had a similar block going on. Probably where they would also air Dragon Ball and Gundam.
Yeah. And, like, we had our own version of Cartoon Network that I'm blanking on the name of, that would have also
Teletoon?
played. Yeah, it's probably Teletoon.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho aired by that point, or not Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
No, other show. I don't know why I confuse those two because they're nothing like Tenchi Muyo had aired by that point too.
Geez.
So, again, comparatively, that is not great. Yeah. Rambarel!
So this stage is like basically you just have Amuro in the gun cannon.
Because this is when Sayla decides to be dumb and thinks she can pilot the gun when she can't.
Yeah, because she wants to interrogate the Zeonic soldiers about her brother.
Yes. And the original series, the overtones were she can't pilot because she's a woman because, Japan's sexist. But also, in her case, she's completely untrained. Though on the other hand, when Amuro jumped into it, he was completely untrained too, so...
I mean, they also comment in here that, like, one of the, like, we just saw, one of the lines is that she mastered the simulations.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, this... There's stuff about, like, the tone that just isn't working. But also, like, thankfully, due to the inherent regen you get from having, like, named characters who don't have their own ship, this mission isn't, like, it's a little difficult, but it's clearly doable because, like, you're supposed to be able to, like, you don't have backup, so obviously it's just a minor puzzle.
Yeah.
Kai is a jerk.
Oh, Kai is a giant jerk. But he's a lovable jerk. Also, this is before his character development happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like 2 episodes. Like, over like 2 episodes, he has character development. Which I don't even remember if it's a mission in this game or not.
I have to look. I don't think that one is. But we'll see. Like, it would have to be the next mission.
You don't title these episodes, do you?
What's that?
I said you don't title these episodes.
No, I just titled them the name of the mission.
Okay. Let's say I think we're getting close to the meme episode.
Oh.
That might be the next. I don't remember how the missions go because.
Yeah.
Honestly, there have been so many games that are like, here, play through the story of Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yeah, this. If I remember right,
basically, I wonder if this has the episodes with the we're jumping onto white base thing.
I don't know actually. Let me just gotta pull up my
your list.
My list. Let me see what I got here. Oh geez. Yeah, Gundam ends at 6.
Okay, so we're like halfway through.
Yeah.
So that means, let's see, next will be Jaburo.
Yeah, next should be Jaburo, then 5 is Solomon, then 6 is Abaoku.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured it'd be.
Because Mobile Suit Gundam 4 is going to be set after Blue Destiny 1.
Right. So they skip Odessa.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because I think like 8 other things in this game will cover Odessa.
Yeah,
I love how we're talking about this like it's an actual war, and it's like, oh man, this World War II game skipped Normandy. Actually, I guess Jaburo would be Normandy. Actually,
yeah,
no, I guess Solomon would be Normandy.
Solomon is basically Normandy, yeah.
Yeah. I guess Jaburo would be the Blitz.
Yeah, kinda.
I don't know, I'm not near enough a World War II history buff to know more than like 5 battles.
Yeah, same.
Go but... American education system! Actually, to its credit, when I was in school, I can't speak to it now, because I know things have probably gotten worse. But when we covered World War II, it's more focused on like the home front stuff, and like we especially spent a long time on how bad Japanese internment was. Because where I live, there is a fairground nearby that back in World War II was a Japanese internment camp.
Huh.
Yeah. And they're like, now we're returning to the fairground. Like, okay. But there was like memorials and stuff there to not forget its origins.
I mean, that's still very important.
Yeah, it is, because there's issues and things in history that people should learn from.
Yeah, so that they don't turn around and repeat them.
Yeah. This is when Amuro decides he's a whiny bitch and decides to run away again. I actually feel bad for Amuro as a character.
Yeah, kind of, like...
Because he doesn't have, how do I put this? Every characteristic he shows in these shows are him reacting to where the plot drags him.
Yeah, kind of. There are things that I can say about him as a character and how he acts in later on stuff, but it also has to be tempered with the understanding that his his teenage years gets destroyed by the 1 Year War, where he basically gets pressed into being the pilot of the Gundam and winning the war for the Federation, and then his reward for almost single-handedly winning the war is being put into jail for like the next 10 years.
Yeah, well, house arrest, but yes, because they're afraid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, he only gets out of house arrest because he breaks out and joins some rebels.
Because, spoilers, the good guys in this turn out to be jerks later.
Yeah.
Actually, they're jerks now, it's just they're fighting worse jerks.
Yeah.
But we'll get there in, like, a year and a half or something like that when we actually get out of the 1 Year War. It's gonna be weird when we, like, get out of this and then it's just like, oh, boom, 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 Grips conflict.
Yeah.
Neo-Zeon conflict, other Neo-Zeon conflict.
Yeah, like, that's actually a thing that I am... Like, I really like Genesis, and I really like the way that it's laid out. But if you look at the mission order in chronological order, like, it is 70% of the game covers the 1 Year War, and then once you leave the 1 Year War and hit 0081, it is each sub-series, like each show or game or whatever, is self-contained. You just go one to the end, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's just... Part of it is there aren't as many side stories around other stuff.
Well, the thing is, there are. They just didn't decide to cover any of them. Like,
there's a few... but Sentinel's the main one.
Well, so Zeta could have had Sentinel and Advance of Zeta. And Advance of Zeta, like, not only do they have some Advance of Zeta units in here, like, Advance of Zeta has some stuff that they could have really dug into.
I was gonna say, does Advance of Zeta really have that much of a story? Because I was under the impression it's just like, and then these guys made this mobile suit and it did this stuff.
So, my understanding is that there's the original Advance of Zeta stuff, which is just a photo album of really cool mobile suit designs. But then there is an Advance of Zeta manga.
Oh, okay.
And that's like the part where, like, they bring back the 0083 guys and show that most of them joined the Titans.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They also could have had Zeta could have had Larkin, no, not that. École du Ciel in it. Could have had Advance of Zeta. Then between Zeta and Double Zeta would have been Sentinel.
Yeah, my understanding is Sentinel's a Cloudy Rights issue thing to where, like, Model Graphics, the company who published it, like, owns part of it, which is why you don't see it as much as other stuff.
Like,
not that they can't, but I imagine also Bandai would have had to show units, more money for
the
it.
units are still in Genesis. Like, you can still get Ryu Roots, you can still get the S Gundam and the XS. I think Deep Striker is also still in Genesis.
It is.
Which is good, because the Deep Striker is very good. Char's Counterattack doesn't really have anything that's, like, side story and also consistent. Because at that point it's like, okay,
Unicorn.
you tell Char's Counterattack, and then you also tell, like, I don't know, you decide to have Beltorchica's children as a side thing.
Well, I mean, at that point, it literally is like Unicorn and I mean, more recently Moon Gundam and Narrative, but those
like, no one would have known about.
Narrative didn't exist. I think Moon Gundam was just in its infancy when this game came out.
Yeah.
And then that, what's that stupid thing? Which would have been like one stage. Crap, I forget what it's called.
Like, don't get me wrong.
The thing with Gundam Twilight Axis.
Oh, that, yeah.
That would have been like maybe one, or maybe, I guess you could stretch out to 2 stages.
But Twilight Axis was also
it's
like
a
a year
long...
or two after Genesis came out.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Like, it was last year or early this year.
Yeah. No, it was definitely last year. At least, because I remember that remember being super disappointed by that Tristan kit. The main Gundam from it looks awesome, and they made a model kit of it that is pretty widely accepted to be, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, the worst model kit Bandai's put out in the last, 10 years.
Okay, alright, that's still...
And that might be slight hyperbole, but also Bandai doesn't tend to put out, big duds that often.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, there still would have been a point in the timeline where it would have just turned into a straight line instead of it being bouncing around all over the place. But I think I would have appreciated it more if it was by the time we reached CCA. Because, there's stuff in the 0083 to Double Zeta era that doesn't get, either doesn't get covered at all or very infrequently gets covered.
Yeah. What's another thing that might have, a sequel might have more, because they've also done... Thunderbolt was in this game as DLC, but Thunderbolt had a second season, which you could do stuff with.
The thing, though, is that, if they did a sequel to Genesis, do I want them to do this plus more, or do I want them to start from CCA and go forward? Or do I want them to be the AU game?
I want them to be the second universe, essentially, the post Char's counterattack stuff.
That's actually what I want. Then you're gonna definitely run into the issue of the timelines do not match, period, because most of that stuff is decades to much longer in between. But but even then, there's some of those things that they could do a little bit more with.
Yeah. But I mean, also Crossbone has 4 different side story mangas at this point.
What I want Genesis 2 to be is I want it to be F90, I want it to be F91, I want it to be Silhouette Formula F91, I want it to be Crossbone
and all that stuff.
Yep, I want it to be...
Which is funny, because again, Crossbone is itself a side story to F91.
Yep.
Also the sequel, God, they need to animate that sometime.
Yeah. I want it to have Victory. God, who else? Just finish with Turn A.
That'd be funny. I mean, really, on G-Rico.
And G-Rico, yeah.
It's okay, now we jump ahead 8,000 years. Here's G-Rico.
Who else is post CCA?
I mean, G-Savior, but that ain't ever freaking happening.
Man, I don't know. G-Savior was in Build Fighters.
No.
I actually, and here's the real thing. The G-Savior game is really good, and the designs in it are incredible. I like G-Savior.
I don't hate G-Savior. It's as good as the average Sci-Fi Channel original movie. Side note, I went to see The Meg 2 weeks ago, so that tells you my taste in movies.
But actually, legitimately, in a post CCA Genesis game, I actually want to see G-Savior included.
I have to ask, did you intentionally use the Zaku 2 Desert Version on this stage?
Actually, I can't remember. Probably.
Okay. So that's a good one.
So I was making notes in a for a previous episode. I think the first time the Zaku 2 Desert version showed up, and I basically noted down the Zaku 2 Desert version is just the 2J with, or it's just the normal ground type, but with better anti-dust coating. Also, we haven't seen the normal ground Zaku yet? What?
I mean, I'm sure it'll show up in the 8th MS team.
Yeah.
Which is way later. Also, that's a cool gun tank. Remember
the assault gun tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
It's I know I've seen it before, but also when I see, here's a gun tank variation, okay, how long did they make the cannons this time?
Yeah. It's really interesting, and I want to say the assault gun tank is from Igloo, which I think makes sense as to why it's a little jacked up. But yeah, you look at the majority of the gun cannon variants in the game, and they're just gun tanks. You look at them. Yeah, you look at the majority of the gun tank variants in this game, and they're just gun tanks.
Yeah, that's the thing with gun tank is like most of them are just gun tanks with. And again, a lot of mechanical design is like this. When you get it's like a Goop is a Zaku with some different bits.
Yeah. Like, I think one of my favorite examples of how these variants are like, it's just like, you know, the gun tank mass production type is just a like softer looking gun tank, but also like it just seems more realistic because boy, the gun tank looks like a toy.
It was made to be a toy.
Yep, pretty much. But what I was about to say is one of my favorite examples of like how weird like the variations can be is look at the gun cannon detector and realize that it is a mobile suit that's supposed to have been made like 20 years later and still just looks like a friggin' gun cannon. Like with including the weird bulbous arms.
Yeah. Fun note about gun cannon detector. It is often spelled as dictector.
Sure.
Good job, Japan.
Good job.
Yeah, it's from the Zeta era. Though I mean, also,
I think it's a Zeta MSV that doesn't officially show up until Unicorn.
Yeah, but I mean, Unicorn also pulled like that's specifically that battle in Unicorn pulled out like everything it could.
Yeah, like one of the things that I actually appreciate about Unicorn as a series,
which we will get to that battle in Unicorn eventually.
Yeah, but like one of the things I actually really appreciate about Unicorn as a series is how it is like it's this weird. It's almost like the people behind Unicorn decided to make it into this strange vector to bring back all these Zeta MSVs. Like, so many of the random things that show up in it are just Zeta MSVs.
Yep, because they're like, oh, these are cool, and they never got like screen time before, so let's animate them. And I also like how they're like not plot relevant either; they're just in the background.
Yeah.
So these dudes have mobile suits, and I mean, I'm sure real-life militaries still have equipment from, like... I mean, in the context of Unicorn, Zeta is... 0096 from 00... So, 9 years? I'm sure militaries in real life have stuff that was designed 9 years ago.
The progression of technology in Gundam is, like, actually incredibly ridiculous compared to real-world analogs. Like, even in... Essentially, like the jump from 00, so from the 1 Year War to 0083 is what if in between World War One and what if between the start of World War One and the end of World War One we developed like the F-15.
Kind of, yeah.
We went from a Spitfire to an F-15. Like it's almost
honestly,
like that.
Yeah, actually, that's what I'm actually more thinking. It's like, is if the 1 Year War is World War II, we had tons of stuff developed in World War II. It's just, hey, we're just going to throw this idea at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
And if you look at, beginning of World War II, planes, versus when you're going into the beginning of the Cold War in the 50s, that's when the first jet planes started showing up. So that kind of makes sense. But also a media franchise, so...
Yeah. Like, it's something that's pretty typical now in mecha shows in general, or not even just mecha shows,
sci-fi.
like sci-fi in general. Like you look at other properties and you'll see that tech advancements also tend to be ridiculously fast.
Yeah, I mean to go back to our other big Let's Play, hey plug, Star Trek, if you look at the Enterprise D versus the Enterprise E,
yeah,
and that was probably 10 years? When, because assumedly the Enterprise D at the time was like, top line ship because it's the flagship of the fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or even in between that, you got the Defiant, which is, hey, we strapped some engines on some guns, and I guess there's some stuff there to keep people alive. Which I guess goes back to this weird, well, not weird, this sensible idea that massive wars make technology, particularly military technology, leap forward because everyone's trying to get an advantage over
Yeah, I mean, there's a degree to which that's true. Definitely, mecha media takes that to like a ridiculous extreme.
Yeah, because at some point, mecha media is people who like mecha media also like cool design stuff. And so seeing more cool design stuff and technological advancements and cool design stuff, you know, particularly like real robot-y stuff like Gundam and I want to say Votoms, but also Votoms, everything's just a variant of the scoped up. But
yeah, pretty much. Like, honestly, actually, like, the weirdly, like, alright, so the thing about Votoms is that, like, inside Votoms itself, nothing really advances, it's just, like, a whole lot of side grades.
Yeah.
If you're looking for, like, more advanced things, it actually tends to be in, like, the weird prequel OAVs. Or at least the stuff that appears to be more advanced. Because, like, it actually, like, turns out that, like, hey, these super awesome Scope Dog Turbo Customs that they used in Kelson Files are actually what the Red Shoulder Customs are based off of.
Yeah.
So like it basically just turns out that like Scope Dog Turbo Customs are the baseline. It's just that you've never seen a proper Turbo Custom in the show itself.
I guess there's also Macross, which I mean that basically literally did follow the evolution of real world mechanics because Shoji Kawamori is like an aviation freak. Because you know, I mean, let's face it, like the original VF1 is an F-14.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly an F-14, but it's very heavily inspired by an F-14. Then you get to Macross Plus with the YF-21, which is pretty much an F-22 or an F-35 because those things look similar enough when you're talking about something derived from that. And even nowadays, the stuff he designs is like I guess the other half of this is aviation military fighter design kind of stopped because there's no reason for it anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
So now he has to go sci-fi-ish.
I mean, there has been some, but honestly, there's a large degree to which most of the developments in modern military aviation have kind of been other countries trying to find their own way to catch up.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're reached a point where, like, the planes that were made 20 years ago, 30 years ago, are still the best planes out there.
And also, like, honestly, there's no real air warfare, like no air dogfighting warfare anymore. And if you need to bomb something, and also if you need to bomb something nowadays, you can just use a, you know, drone launched from a ship or a
aerial warfare has gotten weird, but the thing on that front though is that like, how do I put this? The American doctrine has been one focusing on air superiority above all. And then from there they do a lot of their stuff via the air. So it kind of means that if you're kind of like in a conflict with the US and you aren't fielding the best planes, then why do you even have planes there at all?
Exactly.
I always liked the destruction animation of the Gallop, because I like that.
Oh, because of how it comes apart.
Yeah, I like that goofy thing in the back just flying right off. It's like, this is such a silly ship.
I used to actually have a toy of that thing, but didn't have the big thing on the back.
Really?
Yeah, back when they were doing the American Mobile Suits in Action line.
Okay, yeah.
They did some really neat playsets for the original. Like, the original Gundam toy line they had, which was... Like, it started with the MS in Action figures that they'd done from Japan. They did way more and also way better, because the original MSIA Gundam is, like, garbage. But they started doing, like, really neat playsets with, like... Yeah, they did the Gallop. They did the Gun Parry. They did they did another one.
I have a couple of the American NSIAs, and
yeah,
like they're actually pretty decent for like what they are and for the era that they're from. Like action figures from that time were pretty low quality, and these were still like not the greatest quality, but they were pretty good for what they were.
They were, I mean, considering they were also not. It's weird talking about this now, because now we're in an era where like a collector, you know, like your average size Transformer is like $20. Mm-hmm. And what was that? 2000? That was when Transformers was the anime stuff. So those were still pretty good, but for the money, like MSIAs were like. Some of them were basically like $5,
yeah,
$5 to $10.
Yeah, they were actually pretty decently. Like, don't get me wrong, I thought that they were still like good value and pretty good quality for what they were, but
yeah. Oh, the Medea, that was the other one.
Okay. My favorite thing about the American MSIAs though were some of the old commercial, not commercials, but some of the old advertisements. Like,
yes,
I saw one that I still really like. It was so goofy. It was basically a Gundam Maxter that it was a battle damage Gundam Maxter, and it was just pointing to a bunch of the damages and saying it was stuff from the 1 Year War.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, they did. What else did they do? Oh, the other neat thing they did with them was they'd always have like the vehicles and stuff. Like, they straight up did a Zaku tank where you could take the Zaku, you know, you could take the Zaku's upper half and stick it on the bottom of a Magellan tank, or you could just have a Magellan tank. It was really cool.
That's pretty neat.
That was, yeah. I sadly sold them off years ago for quite a bit of money, actually, so I'm not actually that sad, but yeah. Also, that's another Gundam episode down.
Yeah.
Ron Burrell's dead.
So...
Rest in peace.
The next mission that we'll be covering is the Second Zeonic Front, which I actually don't remember off the top of my head what mission that is, so we'll see.
Neither do I. It'll be a surprise for everybody.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Yes, and for more adventures of Ron Burrell, please go watch Gundam Build Fighters.
Yeah.
He appears in it. 100% canon character.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Bye, everybody.